win. Like the players they looked exhausted at the end of the match, but they were celebrating. United, they are now 1 point behind City. City have a game in hand, I believe. I'm just going to double check that. City do have a game in hand.
They do. I can confirm that.
1 point ahead. City, on the other hand, they absolutely battered West Brom.
Is this your latest prediction for the winners of the league? Rory has gone through every top 6.
I said it last week. I'm pretty sure I already said it. I said I'm going for the top 6. I'm going to predict that every top 6 are going to win the league. And
except Tottenham
Arsenal.
and Arsenal. Yeah.
Tops. Yeah, right. Fine. No, you've knocked me off now. Right. But West Brom, 20 games in, are now on a minus 33 goal difference, which is just horrific. But
Jesus.
Yeah, it's insane. But the best thing about this was Pep Guardiola during the week came out and called Sam Allardyce a genius because he keeps teams in the league and he does this really great job. And then he just bums in 5-0 in the week. And I just thought it's brilliant because Sam Allardyce is always the one that's like, if my name was Allardyce, I'd have a bigger job. And all these people kind of talk. There was even pundits who said that where Pep Guardiola should bring in Allardyce to fix the defensive problems at Man City. Like, it's insanity. So it was so great to see.
I love if I was called Allardyce, that's so funny.
Yeah. Well,
like a Basque last name, Allardyce.
Yeah. So to go to the performance, City won 5-0. Gundogan scored twice again. And I wanted to talk about Gundogan because he's a player that I've always kind of just known is very good without ever really watching him. And over the last couple of weeks, I've started watching him and he's been, I think the main key to him is that he's been fit this season. He's not been injured. And he's managed to get a decent run of games. But in the Premier League so far this season, he's got 7 goals in 14 games, right? 9 goals in 21 in all competitions, right? Which isn't bad. Compare that to last season in 49 appearances, he got 5 goals.
Damn.
So there's been a real shift in, like, again, I need to watch him more, but whether it's the role he plays or the fact that it is just he's getting a run in the team, he's becoming key and crucial to this City team. And he's scoring beautiful goals as well. They're not just like tap-ins. A few of them have been, but one against West Brom, the way he shifts it from one foot to the other so quickly around a player is so impressive and just strikes it into the bottom corner. He's a player that, like I said, I've always known he's very good, but I'm really, really enjoying watching him now. And City, as we've said, are starting to turn that dial up. And yes, I'm predicting they are favourites to win the league, make that the 5th team that I've called, I think. Although I never said Spurs, so maybe 4th.
I will never. I mean, we have been blessed as a generation to see that Borussia Dortmund team with a bunch of names that became super big. Lewandowski, Gundogan, Mkhitaryan, Hummels, the coach was Klopp. Yeah, whenever I read Gundogan, I think about that final versus Bayern Munich.
Team was class,
that was sad. Penalty by Gundogan, and then they won the game. Bayern Munich. Yeah.
Why did you have to take us there, Tommy? Anyway,
sorry.
So, no. I remember that final now. Good. So City battering West Brom 5-0, and which one are we going to talk about next? Do we want to talk about Burnley beating Aston Villa 3-2? Do we want to go to the Arsenal game, or do we want to talk about Fat Frank getting sacked?
Let's talk about Fat Frank first.
Oh, Fat Frank. Your luck has finally run out. It's finally run out. All the people who have been surprised that he's been sacked, have you not been paying attention to Chelsea for the past 15 years? Like, it is the least surprising thing in the world that they've sacked him. The only thing I would say is I think the new manager is massively underwhelming. I really don't think Tuchel is an exciting appointment.
I think it is slightly overrated, but I will say that I don't know much of his history, and so I don't have enough elements to say that he's overrated, but that's the feeling that I get.
All I will say about Tuchel is he did a good job at Dortmund for a bit. Then he fell out with the owners massively. And the players. It ended really sourly there, and he got chased out of the club. He then goes to PSG, and I've talked about him at PSG under him, there is no discernible system. It seemed to be give the ball to Neymar and Mbappe and let them do the work. And he didn't do a great, like, okay, he got them to a Champions League final, right? You can say, okay, you got him to a Champions League final, fair play. That is a good achievement. But with that squad, should he be getting there anyway? You can't judge how good he is on Ligue 1 because Ligue 1 is not a competition for PSG. Like I said, what struck me is the lack of system that his teams seem to have when I've seen them, right? Again, I'm not professing to be like an expert or that I've watched all the games, but I think it's a very, very underwhelming appointment. And I think there's going to be bad news for Chelsea fans because they were moaning about Jorginho playing too much and they're worried about the youngsters not getting a chance. Tuchel is going to form that whole team around Jorginho. He is exactly the type of player that Tuchel wants. And players like Mount and Callum Hudson-Odoi, I don't think they're going to get the chances anymore because Tuchel is going to go with experience. He's going to go with the players that he knows have been there. And I think Chelsea fans are going to grow to not like him quite quickly.
Yeah, we shall see. But yeah, it's whenever...
Well, again, I could be massively wrong and he could win them the league. Who knows?
Whenever your manager is sacked halfway through the season, you kind of want the next manager coming in to be a big name, to bring, a wind of freshness. And Tuchel, just like you said, it doesn't seem like the guy.
It just feels a bit like... Feels a bit, I don't know, I don't know.
And he's got a weird face. I don't know.
I'm not going to hold that against him, but...
It looks dirty. I don't know. It just looks like a dirty man. I don't know.
But they drew 0-0 with Wolves, and the best that their social media team could do was tweet a short video of them retaining the ball and talking about how great it is to retain the ball. So that kind of sums up that game. That was a really, really dull affair.
What's next for Fat Frank?
I don't know. It's a weird one. It is a weird one because all sorts of stuff has come out this week now. Players talking about, there's been rumours that he lost the dressing room. There's loads of stories coming out about how he even got into management. That his uncle is Harry Redknapp, right? And Harry Redknapp was just calling around clubs going, do you need a manager? Take Frank. He's great. Take Frank. He's great. Called everyone until Derby said yes. And all these stories are kind of coming out now that I think people are kind of jumping on him a little bit, which I don't think is fair. I think he will get another job. I think he did enough to show that there's potential there. I just think the job was maybe a bit too big for him at this point. Like at Derby, he did quite well. And I think if he could get another job, like Steven Gerrard's kind of done it the right way, where he's gone in.
I was going to say, right.
And I think there's some managers that have done it the right way. And you could say the same about Arteta, right? His first job has been a massive job. I think it's better if you start at the bottom, now you're here, right? It's better to kind of build your way up. I think Frank maybe needs to work on that smaller job.
The thing is that as much as you can think that that's the right thing to do, and probably Frank Lampard thought it himself, then you got an offer from your club. And how can you turn it down? It's so difficult. So, yeah, I understand why he accepted the job, but maybe it would have been more far-sighted to start from what a nice adjective, far-sighted, to start from a smaller team. But let's move on. Burnley, Aston Villa. What are your takeaways from this game, Rory?
Well, this game was, again, I've had really bad luck this week of choosing the games. I thought, well, this game's got 0-0 written all over it, so I'm not going to bother watching it. And then, of course, it's a 3-2 to Burnley. So I follow the XG philosophy, right? And every so often, it kind of jumps out at me. The XG for this game, Burnley's was 0.77, Villa's was 2.94. Of course, Burnley win 3-2, right?
Right, yeah.
I think it's games like this that kind of make people who don't like XG go, oh, it's a lot of bollocks. Like, it makes no sense. What is this? But watching the highlights, Burnley were just so clinical when they got chances. Aston Villa absolutely battered them. From what I saw, they had the much better chances. Jack Grealish, can we just take 5 minutes to appreciate Jack Grealish?
And also to appreciate his haircut. Jack, I've been growing my hair too, and sometimes it looks stupid, and I kind of have to slick it back. Then sometimes
you put a hat on. Highlights now as well, man. That's the next thing, right?
Well, you didn't know me yet, but a lot of listeners from the United States will remember Tommaso with dumb highlights and that exact same haircut.
Listeners in the US, Send them to the Twitter. I need those photos for the Twitter. It is of vital importance.
Oh my God. As they're listening to this, Reed is going through his phone.
Honestly, I need to
just
see
wait
them
a second.
photos.
But yeah, Jack Grealish, man, what a hell of a player.
I just love watching him. I love watching him. He's understanding with his teammates. I think it seems like all of his teammates, or he understands how all of his teammates play. He always plays the perfect slide rule pass, the perfect through ball. His vision is incredible. His dribbling, everything. He's everything I like about a player. He's mercurial. He wears his socks low. He kind of has that kind of old style dribble, a little bit jilty, and he's just an unbelievable player. I've said it before. If I could take one player in the Prem, it would be him or Maddison. And he absolutely ran the game against Burnley, but they lost ultimately. And Burnley, this has given them they've had a really good couple of weeks. So they've now won 3 of their last 5, and that puts them, I think, 8 points above the relegation zone. So now there's a little bit of 9 points above the relegation zone, getting himself a little bit of breathing space, because for a while it looked like they were in trouble. But Burnley at home or Burnley away is always a difficult place to go. Aston Villa, on the other hand, are starting to wobble a little bit. They've only won 1 of their last 5. It's kind of similar to what happened with Southampton. I think they've started to wobble a bit as well. These teams, they're just a bit more susceptible to form, I suppose. If you know what I mean, they're a bit more up and down. Aston Villa are still going to have a great season. They'll get back into form again, and they're still a great team to watch. Players like Barkley, the Trezeguet, El Ghazi, they've got some really entertaining players. Martinez in goal still looks brilliant. Their defense is great. But Burnley won the game 3-2, and it did definitely surprise me seeing that result. I think that might be the most goals that have ever been involved in a Burnley game, but I'd have to check that. You never really get that many goals in a Burnley game.
It is almost a wrap for our Euro review. Rory, I'm going to give you 2 minutes sharp to talk about Arsenal.
Okay, well, 2 minutes? Come on, you got half an hour. Let's go. Right, I'm going to talk about Arsenal, and we actually played really bloody well. We played really well. So obviously at the weekend, I was horrifically hungover on the Saturday and missed the FA Cup game. I was technically watching it, but I just slept through it, basically. We lost 1-0 to Southampton, and it was, from what I read afterwards, because I didn't see much of it, it was depressing and awful. So running into this game, playing Southampton again away 3 days later, I thought, oh God, how's this going to go? But we put out our first team. We put out a better side than at the weekend. And Bukayo Saka, he has now scored more goals than all the teenagers in the Premier League combined, right?
That's a nice stat.
Is unbelievable. I was talking to Tom about him on the WhatsApp group, and he made a very good point, which I definitely agree with. He was like, I think he's better than Raheem Sterling already. He does what Raheem Sterling does, but he gets more goals.
Ooh la la, that's a
which I
statement.
think I wholeheartedly agree with. I was like, yes, Tom, you're right. You're bloody right. He's great. But what does worry me is that we rely on him already so heavily. Without him in the team, without Emile Smith-Rowe, and these are young players, we do not look like half the team. But Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka are making a great partnership in midfield. Thomas Partey he's already one of the best midfielders in the league. Like, at what he does, he is one of the best. He's made such a difference to the side. And all of a sudden, the team's starting to get partnerships around the fields. You've got Partey and Xhaka kind of forming a partnership together. You've got Saka and Lacazette kind of every game. It seems like they're setting each other up or like scoring for each other. It's incredible. It looks a lot more positive, but we've got a difficult run coming up. We've got United at the weekend. Then we've got Wolves, and we've got we've got Tottenham coming up soon. We've got a few games where you think, okay, this is going to be a test of us, but it's looking a lot more positive. We played really well, 1-3-1. Great game to watch.
Let me put you on the spot. Final result of Arsenal United. We are terrible at predictions, in case you're listening for the first time. We are really bad at them. Terrible.
I don't want to predict we're going to win, but I kind of think we're going to win. But then I think they're going to batter us. I don't know. I have no idea.
Give me a score. Give me a score.
Either way. I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal.
All right. Arsenal 2, Manchester United 1. Our Twitter is Italian Anglopod. Go at Rory.
And I just need to quickly, because I have to do it for Tom, West Ham are 4th and they're absolutely crushing it. We have to talk about West Ham. Thomas Souček.
Yeah.
Right? Thomas bloody